So we got the fucking warehouse.
Yeah.
Nope, we're going live.
Actually, don't have maybe full over here yet. We're good.
There's an AC strip.
I'm good.
If you can reach that way if you need it.
I'm full. My first meeting this morning is at the house. And where's my next one? I think I've just got stuff on.
Ready to go when you are, Rick.
Oh.
Hey, Keith. How you been, man?
Very good.
Ready.
Jason, you want to hit the light switch, please? There you go.
The following program is sponsored by Mr. Texas Real Estate. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Radio Network with Mr. Texas Real Estate Jason Bible and Mr. California Investor Robert Orfino. Join us as Jason and Robert talk about the hottest real estate market in the country, the entire state of Texas. Learn why Texas is such a great market to invest in and why it could be strong for years to come. Get ready to talk all things Texas on your new home on the way to the office. Texas Real Estate Radio.
This feels a little better being back in the radio studio, doesn't it? This feels right. It was just weird in the garage.
And musty.
And
A little musty in there.
it's a lot less musty here. And they finished this building almost over here.
Yeah, look at that.
It looks like they've done
Progress.
Yeah, what is that? That's not an apartment.
It's a prison.
It looks like a
It
prison.
sure does, doesn't it?
Somebody spent a lot of money on a Class A prison near Sharpstown. Anyway, so welcome to the show, folks. Jason Bible, Robert Orfino. We have not found our mole yet. I keep getting asked that. Have you found the mole? I was like, no, haven't found the mole yet, but I'm going to.
City came by the other day.
Yeah, city came by.
Here it is, empty garage. Nothing here.
Nothing in here, boys. I'm glad they sent two of y'all by.
And the guy's like, I said, we're doing a podcast and we uploaded a radio show. There's no rappers in here. We're not laying down tracks and stuff.
Jay-Z's not coming by and, dropping a sick beat.
And I said, it's the least of the things we do.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, someone complained. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I understand. And you came out. That's
Very good.
Great. So, any case, so we're back in the studio, 7 to 9 a.m. We are so busy with all of our other real estate stuff that we were just not getting to the radio show. So, unfortunately, we do real estate first.
We do. Absolutely.
So,
it's a little discipline now. We'll be here. What are we going to do? I'll be here on Tuesdays. We'll do it together Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you're here on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. I'll do them.
That's how
JB
we'll do it.
solo on Thursday.
So we'll do 2 days, 2 days each in the studio. That will be manageable.
Yeah, definitely.
And then our influencers are filling out.
Yeah, we've got
Filling out.
Curtis is on board. We got George was shooting yesterday.
Yep.
So you guys on the Texas Real Estate Radio Network, you're going to get a real treat. You are going to get breadth and depth in real estate education here on the radio show and podcast. So I'm excited about having those boys on board. It was good to see George in studio. I saw the pictures. So I think Curtis is next week. And then we got to talk to Brian B. Squared. We've got to start working on a private lender thing. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So,
but we just give him to Taylor.
Yeah, that's right. So thank God Taylor's here to kind of manage some of the chaos, organized chaos that we've got at the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. So let's talk a little stock market. I sent an email out to our email list late last night, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Great article I found, I believe it was on Yahoo Finance, but I can't remember to be honest with you. And it basically said there are 5 stocks, 5 of them, that make up 18% of the stock market. 5 stocks make
Are these the alphabet stocks?
Yeah, this is Google and Facebook and Amazon and Apple, which is Alphabet. No, Google is Alphabet. Apple and who am I missing here? In any case, there's 5 of them. So when people talk about, or investors talk about, I'm diversified. I've got my money in this fund. I have my money in that fund. I'm like, look, if you don't review the allocation of that fund you are invested in, it is highly likely that it is involved, at least in some way, with these big 5. And truth be told, I heard this great quote the other day, and I just hadn't heard it in a while. When the United States coughs, the rest of the world gets a cold because of the size of the economy and a handful of other things. Well, these stocks have become so large. These 5 have become so large. I mean, representing 18% of the marketplace now, that when they cough, the rest of the market will get a cold. That's just the reality of it. So I sent an email out and I said, look, guys, y'all can keep investing in this stuff you want. We invest in our household. We have a match and all that other stuff. So we just match my wife's job matches her 401k contribution. So we do that, but the bulk of our wealth is in real estate. So the idea that you're going to be able to hide from the next economic downturn
in the stock market
is absolutely insane. So the question is, where do you put it? And I'm a big proponent, obviously, of putting it in real estate. Now, what's fascinating is we have a lot of folks that are like, Jason, you understand there's a real estate crisis coming because prices have gone up so much. And I'm like, well, explain to me why prices keep going up. Like, that's the fascinating thing when a lot of people get in my face and, you understand? Like, I mean, and they get all huffy puffy.
No, Jason, I saw a guy on YouTube, and then there was someone over at the Broke Club, and they were telling us about, hey, it's coming, so get ready and buy my program, and so we're gonna start investing in tax liens.
Yeah, you don't understand this.
Tax liens.
We're going to get into tax liens, and we're going to get into...
Yeah, I was at the Pitfool conference, and this guy got on stage talking about tax liens, so I bought the tax lien programs. You understand there's some really big law firms that take on the bulk of that business, right? Yeah. Like, you're looking for scraps that are falling off the garbage truck.
Last time we were in California, we're driving up to the Elks Lodge there, which is the first time I've ever been to a real estate event at an Elks Lodge, which they had elk and stuff on the wall. I mean, they're in the little bar in the back.
Oh, yeah.
This is
old
school Southern California.
Yeah, there's a big elk on the wall. Yeah.
I was like, this is great. And they like a board and all. This is fantastic. So we had been to, I don't know how many real estate events at that point while we were there for a couple of days. And, you always get the traveling sales guy, right? Somebody's pitching their real estate program, their $997. Oh, no, the new thing's $1497, right? They're pitching their $1497 real estate.
Well, yeah, the economy as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, so we go to $1497.
We go to $1497. Yeah. And the fascinating thing about that pitch is they'll have a picture of the big giant house and their kids and the spouse, and they're all at Disney and all that other stuff.
Yep.
And the Lambos and Ferraris. And every time we go to one of these events, I'd never see a Lambo or Ferrari in the parking lot.
No. And the guy, like, he either Ubered it from the airport or he rented the smallest compact available, right? Because every real estate guru they're all so cheap.
Oh, I know.
They're all cheap too. It's hilarious.
They come in with the Chevy Spark? Is that what?
Yeah, absolutely. The little Spark. That's funny.
Rolling in and a Spark.
Yeah,
dude, I'm crushing it here. Here I am in my Chevy.
Chevy
Spark
at the Red Roof Inn.
God forbid.
On a Wednesday night in Wichita, Kansas, right?
And if I run over a pothole, it's going to collapse around me and kill me. The Spark. I think they made it in like some neon colors too.
It was like a green neon, right? It was like the old. They took the same color palette of those old dune buggies.
The Mark's Minks.
Yes, they took the purple and the green and the blue. Yeah, there was the same color palette. Yeah, it was great.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Yesterday I was on the bike and I saw a guy with a Fiat 500, which is just a goofy looking little car anyway. So driving it, the sunroof open, driving around Sugarland. I'm like, you're kind of out of place here, buddy.
Not for long.
You're in the wrong neighborhood, my friend. So in any case, that's what's going on, folks. We're looking at the stock market, and 18% of the stock market is literally 5 companies.
Right.
So there is some discussion right now that this is very similar to the tech bubble. The setup is very different or very similar. In other words, these certain companies are the largest percentage of the actual market. And of course, if you're invested in some of these funds, even an index fund, your index fund is going to be heavily weighted towards some of these tech stocks. So there's really no such thing as diversification anymore.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what we invest in, and then we'll talk a little about real estate when we get back, and we're going to talk about our favorite company, Tesla. Hey, this is Robert and Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back. We're ready to roll right into the next one as soon as you are. Yep, intro.
Oh, yeah, this is much better than doing this at the office.
Good morning, everyone. I see people signing in. Thank you very much. You guys give us some likes and loves and shares. That would be awesome. If you can share this video to your feed, that would be wonderful. Give us some likes, give us some love, some thumbs up. All good. We're going to be talking about Tesla stock. So if anyone's watching that owns Tesla, let us know if you got in and when you got in and where you got in at. We'll be talking about that probably in segment 3. So if you're a Tesla person, let us know what you got in at. We'd love to know.
Okay, here we go.
Yep. Hey, welcome back. This is Robert, and this is my partner next to me here, Jason. We're from Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Guys, if you want to find out more about what we do, we're talking about investing in real estate today. We're talking about versus the stock market and some other opportunities out there. The easiest way is going to be going to our website, which is mrtxre.com. That's MR as in Mr., TX as in Texas, and RE as in real estate. So mrtxre.com. We actually have someone helping us now with the website, so it's actually getting some updates. It doesn't have our events from 2017 on there anymore. So there's some current news and information on there. You should go check it out. And then as always, if you're interested in anything we're doing, the mastermind, any of our classes, or interested in the fund, you can go ahead and text us at 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. So the market's moving, and it's moving in a good direction, but the problem is if the market went up 25% last year, why did people only see an 8 to 12% return in their portfolio?
Right? That is a great little question. So a couple things you got to look at when you're investing in stock stuff, especially in funds. Like most people don't, the vast majority of investors out there are mom and pop retail investors. You're investing through your work 401k.
And it's usually some fund, yeah.
And it's some fund, right? And so here was the problem. Back in the day when I worked for the corporate, you could log in and essentially pick from like a gazillion different funds.
Right.
It was kind of cool. Then some big benefits thing changed, and they had like 15 funds to choose from. So the problem there is that you get this, quote, the market has returned 25% in the last year, but whatever fund you're invested in has A, fees associated with it.
Right.
B, you are paying taxes inside that fund. A lot of people don't know that. And then C, the other thing is something called churn. So they're replacing stocks with certain stocks. They're selling some, buying some, and that's creating some more expenses. So you go very quickly from a market that was returning allegedly 20, 25%, you may make 7 or 8%.
Right.
Which doesn't sound like a big deal until you have a year where, let's say, the market recedes by 10, 12%. And of course, yours is actually going to be worse than that. It's probably going to be, 15%, 16%. So I've never had that happen in real estate.
Right, and we should say at this point we're not financial advisors. It's not financial advice, but what we're really good is taking a hat that smells like a house that smells like cat pee and making money from it.
That's right.
That's our claim to fame.
That is our claim. We're going to do the mastermind. We'll have the mastermind this weekend, and we'll have the same discussion with everybody. Like, the smell of cat pee should not make anyone excited.
It should not make you excited. It will make you money, but it should not make you excited.
It should not make you excited. You get all these gurus that, walk around on stage and they go, "Yeah, man, that's the smell of money." I'm like, no, that is not what money smells like. Absolutely doesn't smell like that. It smells like leather in a Lambo. That's what money smells like. This smells like cat pee, I assure you. It smells like a beautiful air-cooled Porsche. Trust me, it does not smell like
Model 3.
Yeah, your Model 3. What is this? You know what? I haven't noticed a smell inside Teslas because they're not leather. So is it just kind of like a formaldehyde-y, plasticky smell?
My guess is that they're California based, so they'd have to meet the indoor quality test for what is it? The Southern California Air Quality Management District small container test. So they would it would be almost zero smell. There'd be no VOCs coming off that car.
Every car I've ever bought new, I bring it home. I'm real sensitive to that smell.
Yeah,
so I turn it on.
My brain cells.
I lower the windows, just crack the windows just a little bit, and I turn the heater all the way up and let it sit in the driveway for an hour. Burn it as fast as you can. So that's the only way I can.
I enjoy the contact time, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's pretty good. No, so yeah, all that stuff is, that's the old in the green world. What does a clean office smell like? And the answer is it smells like nothing. Because when it smells like pine, that's a cancerous odor that's going into your brain. When it smells like lemon, it's the same thing. These are carcinogens.
Look, I'll tell you exactly what the office smells like. It smells like somebody microwaving their fish they had last night for lunch.
Yes.
Burnt popcorn and Hilda with too much perfume on it and counting.
You know what our office smells like? Our office smells like 5 people have yet to figure out when garbage day is.
Yes,
that's what our office smells like at this point.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I keep walking by and I'm like, oh, this isn't a real office. We actually have to empty this out on Friday. Otherwise, it gets pretty rough in here.
So anyway, when we look at the stock market, it's doing very, very well. Overall, it's what strategies you have. And there are a lot of people who play that game like as intense as anything else. I don't. We have some index funds that mirror the Dow.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where we leave it. They're through Fidelity, so there's not a lot of fees. And what I have in stocks, I'm going to leave in stocks. I'm just not going to move it around too much. Just part of it. I don't own any mineral rights, which is something I've been looking into at some point. I want to get into owning the land rights for oil and mining and things like that.
That's interesting. I know.
There is a tax benefit that comes off of there that I have to figure out.
There is. We could send. I know exactly who we talked to too. We could have a show about that. That's kind of interesting. We've not gotten into the raw land business, and every time I look at it, kind of dip my toe in there. I'm like, yeah, this is something I could see us doing at some point, especially as the fund gets a lot larger because you're just land doesn't cash flow, right?
No.
So you got to kind of hold on to it, but
it
does appreciate pretty rapidly. So I could see getting into some of the land stuff, but right now I'm just like, I don't know enough.
It's another 2 or 3 years, and we're already moving into some commercial stuff that the commercial stuff we're looking at now. We're very familiar with. I did a lot of ground up back in the day, a lot of commercial construction consulting. Not that I was a genius or architect or an engineer, but I sat in on a lot of meetings to understand the flow of construction and how those things were rented out. And so we have a couple opportunities coming up here that we're probably not going to pass on. We'll probably move on it, and we'll extend our portfolio out another $10 million here very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got an accepted offer at $3.3 million, so that'll be a fun little project.
Yeah.
What do you think? Maybe $50,000, and then how much for the other office suites? You think we got another $100,000 in rehab for tenant improvements if we do TI? I'm trying to remember how many.
I put $100,000 in there in that deal.
Okay.
Only because there are federal electric boxes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to get those
I'm
swapped out.
amazed they haven't swapped those out yet.
Well, it hasn't burnt to the ground, right? It's
Yeah.
just a matter of how aggressive the insurance company is.
That's true.
That's really what it comes.
Mm-hmm. So we got one of our first big commercial deals we'll talk about here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll do that obviously as a syndication. So since that's not really designed for our fund is a single-family fund, paying 9% preferred return.
Absolutely, with a 10% equity kicker.
So if you guys are interested in that, you can send a text message. We still do the text
Yeah,
message?
sure. 281-401-9008. We're almost capped out. So we got to get all these 94 properties lined up so we can figure out what the next round of raising is.
And so if you guys have been following along on Facebook, we contracted 94 houses about a month ago.
Yep.
A little after the first of the new year.
You really should start working on that, right?
Yeah. So we're selling some, keeping some are going in the fund. We're kind of moving them around to find the best place for them. But I don't know what our fund will be up to after that. We're going to sit down and run all the numbers, but
close to over 15 million.
Over 15 million in
closer to 20. And
like
we said we were going to stop in 25. 25, we're going to finish it.
So if you guys want to get involved in our real estate fund or single family real estate fund, 281-401-9008. Just text FUND, F-U-N-D.
This is Robert and Jason. Will be back. Hey, everyone on Facebook, thank you very much for joining us this morning. If you could, give us some thumbs up, some likes, some love. Share this. Please share this. Angel, I see you there. If you could share that, that'd be great. Good morning, Robert. Hey, Robert, we got some documents to send over to you. They should be coming out of the lawyer's office pretty quickly here. So Brian will reach out to you.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, welcome back. Hopefully you're having a great night. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. This is Robert Orfino and my partner Jason Bible here. We're from Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We have a mastermind coming up this weekend.
Yep, mastermind weekend.
I whipped that dead horse yesterday. I think I did 3 segments on it. So we won't go into it too much other than if you're trying to get an investment portfolio together, between 4 and 40, our mastermind is the place you need to be, and as quickly as possible. And we talked about the market last night. We talked about how it's still good for buying and holding, more so buy, fix, and hold. It's not good for flips, and I don't think there are any turnkey rentals in this community.
What do you mean by turnkey rentals?
Just I'm going to buy this house and I can put a tenant in right now, and I'm going to make 9 to 12% of the money.
Yeah, you got to be able to go in and buy them. Well, what's interesting.
Well, those trailers, the RV park one is.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want those.
Speaking of which, I haven't heard anything about that. I'm supposed to have a contract sitting in front of me. So here's the problem with this marketplace, and it's going to be a challenge throughout most of Texas, and that is prices are still rising, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. So we looked at, the properties in the portfolio. Chris ran comps from 10 years ago to see how much they had appreciated. They've nearly doubled in value in 10 years,
right?
Which tells you they're appreciating about 7% per year. That's a 7% of, let's say, $150,000. That's pretty serious.
They're all $300,000 houses in the next decade.
Yeah.
Before 2030.
Yeah. It's really hard to lose when your appreciation alone is 7%.
Right.
Your appreciation is 7%. Your cash flow is somewhere between 10 and 20% per year. Your appreciation, that's 7% per year. You got to be, okay, so let's talk a little bit about math. You got to be real careful with math. because people get kind of goofy with it. They'll say, oh, yeah, over 5 years, this is a 20% return.
Which is annualized 4%.
Which is annualized at 4%.
Right.
So what's the annual return? Like, what's the real return on this thing on an annualized basis? So people get goofy with the math, and they'll say, oh, yeah, I doubled my money in 10 years. I'm like, don't get me wrong, it's great. That's 7% a year.
Right.
So the rule of 72 divided by 7 is about 10. So,
and I love the stuff that pops up on my Facebook feed. And it's just like 21.5% projected internal rate of return. I'm like, well, what does that mean to me? That means nothing. How much of that have you given me?
Yeah, that IRR calculation, you could really play with the math in there if you don't know what you're looking at.
And I think it's very deceptive. When I see that post, I'm like, that means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Are we talking about just straight equity deal?
Yeah.
And they should be happy because I think I can flip it in 5 years and double my money. But what are the fees? So we try and make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
We really do. We hate complicating it. And then, there are obviously investors who like to complicate things. It's like, hey, what if we did this? No, we're just going to do this.
Look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy the thing. We're going to fix it.
Stabilize it.
We're going to cash flow it. And then, well, what happens? What do you think the appreciation on it? I'm like, I don't know. Appreciation is probably going to be somewhere between 5 and 7%. Well, what's the IRR? And what about this? What about that? I'm like, I could put it to you on a spreadsheet, but just to be completely transparent, it's really, you should only care about the cash flow.
Right.
What does the cash flow tell me? Now, the equity is a whole different game. That's really the reward that we can experience in an appreciating marketplace, or in upping the rents and lowering the expenses and all that other kind of stuff. So, the property we're looking at, this office warehouse complex, we think we're buying it at 3.3. We'll put 150K into it. It's already stabilized as 7 cap on actuals, like real actuals.
Yeah.
And when rents hit $1 a square foot, which I think we're at 85.
They're actually with the
87.
The grosses were at 91.
Okay, so gross at 91. So
it's not far to go.
It doesn't have far to go, and it's in the
2
middle.
years.
I love this commercial real estate term. It's in the middle of the path of progress.
It is for sure in the path of progress.
Which is a nice way of saying it's a Class C with a whole bunch of Class A being built around it.
Yes.
That's really what's going on.
Yes.
So
there's a lot of construction
debris
blowing on our property.
Yeah. So we'll be in it. Let's call it $3.5 million after closing costs.
And the only real thing that we do is we got to take care of those electrical panels, and then I want to put a metal fence up in front, and we're done.
Yeah.
There's not much.
There's not much to do.
We'll offer some special TIs. I think we can get the rent. I think we can get occupancy over 90% in the next 6 months here.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that building.
I think we
filled.
can push it. Yeah.
So we'll be in at $3.5 million. And once we hit about $1 a square foot rents, get occupancy up over 90%, I think we'll make $1 million on that thing easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So, and it's not. This is just one of the. It's one of those deals where it's the benefit of having a radio show. Because it was literally from somebody who listens to the show, like, hey man, we might have something for you. We're like, okay, send it over.
Right.
Off market, just a couple of guys that know about it. So if you've got any of those deals out there, send them over to me. Yeah, we'll take a look. We are very active, and what we realize is that even in the commercial space, single family, we think there's only about 60 real buyers in a marketplace at any one time.
Any given 30 days.
Yeah, there's about 60 people buying properties.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot. People think that, oh my gosh, I'll hear this at the Redneck Country Club or the Republic Country Club next week or a week after that. Oh, Jason, you understand? There's all these
competition.
Competition is crazy.
Oh my God! Did you see the foreclosure class that just came through?
Oh,
they're all gone now. All the foreclosures are gone.
Oh, it's crazy. There's all these, and then we send out a package of 40 properties and say, "Hey, who wants to buy them?" And we get like 4 or 5 people, right?
Yeah,
and they're like,
15, 16.
They're like, "Yeah, we think we're interested," or "Yeah, we're interested." You know what was amazing is how many people said they were interested, and when I said, "Shoot me a screenshot of your bank statement,"
Yeah.
The drop-off rate was like 60%.
Oh, yeah, it's shaft from wheat, right?
Yeah. Very quickly, like, oh, wait, you got to have money? Well, you got to have money to do investing? Oh, yeah. I went to this class one time, and they said I didn't need money.
I didn't need any money.
Like, that's not really how
But the
that
people
works.
that showed up were for sure real. Most of them had a small portfolio
Yep.
already. There were no greenies there.
Yeah.
They were looking for something very specific. And again, as I was watching those videos last night, I was just laughing, thinking, everyone I know in California, if you're in California and you're watching this, we've got 20 houses you need to buy today. Because that's where this market is heading.
You're going to be $20,000 to $30,000 out of pocket.
Yeah.
It'll cash flow you 15, well, maybe on the low end, 12 to 20%.
I think 12 to 15 is a pretty solid number. And the appreciation is going to be about 7% a year.
The appreciation is going to blow you away.
Yeah.
These things will double in value in 10 years. And of course, people ask, well, Jason, why do you think they'll double in value in 10 years? Because they did over the last 10 years.
Right.
Like what? Tell me what's going to stop appreciation. Is Texas all of a sudden not growing?
It doubled in value over the last 10 years. Let's think about what happened over the last 10 years. Wasn't there a recession in the middle of all that?
Yeah.
And a great real estate crash?
Mm-hmm.
Well, so it's still doubled in all the middle of all that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The median home price in Houston continued to rise even through the real estate crash.
Yeah. It's crazy.
The worst real estate crash in the history of mankind.
The only time people are correct is in January, right? When they're like, "Oh my God, the market's going down." It's like, yeah, that's what happens here. It's January.
Nobody's buying houses. It's January. Chill out. Or they go out to the Midwest and they'll go, "No one's buying houses in the winter." Yeah, because it's miserable.
Yeah, it's horrible. Nobody buys houses up in the Northeast in the winter.
It's crazy.
You can't even walk there. There's ice all the way up the front door. You can't even get in the house. Anyway, this is Robert and Jason. We're part of Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Check us out, mrtxre.com. It's actually getting updated, so there's some interesting stuff happening. We'll be back after this short message.
Turn off your television.
That was three?
That was three.
Criminals and victims, slaves to the system, prisoners to the pain.
Now we're moving good.
Addicted, tangled up and twisted, panic running through our veins. They say I'm alone.
Such a great song.
Hey guys, you're watching on Facebook. Give us some likes and loves. Going to share it. I'm going to cut it off after this segment. I'm going to start a fresh hour. So we're tracking that. So if you see it go blank in about 11 minutes, don't freak out. We're going to be popping right back online.
Ready when you are.
Yep.
You ready?
Yep. All right, welcome back, everyone. Robert and Jason here at Mr. Texas Real Estate, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. So, yeah, the more and more that we read about the stock market and the movies that are coming out, and as soon as some of these guys jump into it and start understanding the space, you realize, as my dad has always said, the only people getting rich are the brokers, right?
Yeah.
And we get it. That's the game.
My favorite, the broker that looks like Einstein. I can't not remember his name. He's on the floor of I can't remember which. He might be. I'm trying to remember. He's on one of the floors. He doesn't own any stocks. Like he's on all the shows.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't own any stocks. And here's the guy that, does it every single day, and he doesn't even eat what he cooks. So that ought to tell you that's something right there. I mean,
I guess as you get older, you gain a little wisdom, right? You can sit back and take a look at that, and it's not a cynical look. It's just like, what percentage of this is just guesswork? How much are they guessing on?
Well, there's that old story.
Anyone who predicts the future, it's ultimately it's a guess, right?
Right. Well, I think the only guys that can predict the future are ones that create it, right?
Yeah.
When Elon's like, we're going to Mars.
Yep.
Ooh, I got home. Of course, I was 5 minutes from the bar yesterday. You had to drive all the way back up to Cyprus, but I got to catch a little bit of that State of the Union. And Trump was like, we're going to Mars. I was like, oh, we got two egos now.
Right, there you go. Wow.
Like, this is going to be great.
You don't even need to go there. Just put them together and the gravity of their ego
yeah.
pull Mars to us.
So I immediately went to Twitter, and I'm like, oh, has anybody started tweeting Elon yet? And they got, because he's got this thing with Jeff Bezos. I don't know if you've seen this.
I haven't.
So you see an interview with Elon, and they'll say, well, Jeff Bezos has got that. They got that ship. They have like
they do. Yeah. They're.
And so they'll mention
ultimately it's a huge marketplace.
Yeah,
space,
and so well, they got so much cash. I mean, what else can you do with money? So
right.
They're interviewing.
I'm waiting for the sea labs. Waiting for the under the ocean cities.
So they're chatting with Elon, and they said, hey, so Jeff Bezos got his little rocket ship doing X, Y, and Z, and Elon just looks at him and goes, I'm sorry, Jeff who? I was like, oh, getting under his skin a little bit.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
So it'll be interesting to see how those boys, the three of them, banging around on each other, pushing NASA, and then Jeff with Amazon.
It's all good for us because we Velcro and Tang, right?
That's right. Velcro and Tang. That is pretty funny.
That's what we got from the
space program.
$19 billion space program.
Yeah.
Velcro and Tang. No, I am a huge fan of. I think. Elon had a quote where he said, "Hey, it's been 10 years since an American-based rocket puts Americans in space."
Yeah,
and there's something wrong with that.
So one of the best commercials ever. The best commercials back in 2009.
The Dorito time machine thing.
No,
that was pretty funny.
One of the best commercials ever. Now I think they did actually debut this one at the Super Bowl, so this is somewhat timely. GM put out a commercial where, if you remember, GM goes into receivership. Obama literally flips bankruptcy law on its head. Mm-hmm. So they're bailing out.
Yeah, the auto industry.
Bailing out the auto industry. They essentially handed over the union. It's all a total mess. You can go back and read it. They were pulling dealership, franchises.
Yeah.
Just like willy-nilly.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys remember the big dealership.
Not just pulling them, but forcing them on you.
Forcing them out of business.
Jason, but the opposite way. Jason, you do really well. We need you to take this dealership over.
Right. Yeah.
Here's a partner. Go get this professional athlete, and he's now your new partner.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Crazy. Which is what caused a lot of the turmoil in the stock market. You're like, wait a second, we just turned bankruptcy law on its head.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what is going on here? So, and then they talked about the space program. That's essentially when they shuttered the shuttle project.
Scuttled the shuttle.
Yeah, scuttled the shuttle.
There it is.
So GM comes out with this ad, and it talks about American excellence in engineering. Right. And they were announcing the new Corvette at this point. And they're showing these guys the plant building, all this stuff. And it says, and then they end it with, Americans still build rockets. And then, of course, this Corvette comes flying through. Nice. But he's right. It's kind of like,
it's wrong.
We got to bum a ride
from
the Russians anytime we want to go do something.
I don't want to be the old curmudgeon, but I think the last 20 years, the last two generations, more interested in their things than big things, right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I'm perfectly okay with the status. It all comes back to the center. So I'm excited about going to Mars. I'm excited about all of that. If we can just get the cryo technology going. If I'm telling you right now, if we had cryo technology that worked, I'd be in it already. I'm tired. I'm just tired. I'm like, just open me up in 100 years. Let me see what it looks like. I'm tired.
What's interesting is, of course, I guess the trip is only 7 months. But if you're going to go any further than that, we're going to have to freeze you a little bit.
It's all bad. It's almost like they never should come back because of the effects of time in space.
Yeah, it's 14 months there.
It's
right?
Tough.
It's not easy.
Let's become Martians.
But I think what's fascinating is I was thinking about this the other day. Google, when I was graduating college, like Google, Yahoo, Facebook was not quite there yet. But those are all the cool places to go work, right? Like right out of school.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what brain drain Tesla is having in the talented engineer marketplace.
I can tell you right now, it's the number one company that engineers want to go work for. The only of the top 25, the only other American automaker was Ford at 18.
Which is odd. Maybe they're real.
There was BMW
Yeah.
on there, and then there was Ford, and then that was it.
Yeah,
As far as
interesting.
cars, the engineers, no, they're going to there, and because he lets them do the work.
Yeah.
You know, there's an advantage to not worrying about profit in your first 10 years of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you become a disruptor. You just don't worry about it. You just keep raising cash.
Well, that's actually a good point. We can bring this back to real estate. When I hear about the quote iBuyers out there, this is the Zillow, the Blue Doors, the Redfins of the world. Who else? What's the other one I like to bang on every now and then? I don't find them as disruptors. I don't see them as disruptors. I just don't.
They're just boogeymen. That's it. They're just in our world. They're just boogeymen. That's what it is. You might as well tell me that aliens are coming down and getting all the good flip deals.
Yeah. Or oh my gosh, that's why I'm not a good broker anymore. Is because
right. Yeah. Because this one house in my entire neighborhood
that got
had a blue sign in front of it. Everything else was Keller and Gary Green and all these other all the traditional guys. One. I'm like, that does not a disruptor make.
No. Now, when you own, what percentage of the EV market does Tesla own?
18%.
Yeah, they own 20% of the EV market.
Of the EV market.
That's domination right there.
Right.
That's what it looks like. Oh, as a side note, I saw the Chevy Volt is on the cutting block, so no 2020 model.
No.
Didn't quite make it.
We'll come back and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about Tesla. I have been enamored by them. All my half-conscious time has gone to watching videos on Tesla.
Watch Elon.
That's it. I lay there on the couch, I fall asleep, and I wake up, and there's another video about Tesla coming, already in the loop.
And Elon is squirrely accent.
Oh,
in your mind.
Absolutely. This is Robert and Jason. We're from Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back. All right, let me shut this down.